side of us when it's all going on in here, just as the internet, as we experience it, is all going on inside the computer. And so if you take the obvious one, the ear, but all the senses work like this. The ear picks up waveform. As I'm speaking now, I'm sending out waveform information fields, which people decode through the ear senses into electrical information communicated to the brain, and it becomes holographic and digital information, digital holograms. And what happens when the brain is decoding that is it only takes enough information to construct a reality. It doesn't take all the information that it receives. According to mainstream science, the brain is receiving, through the sight senses, 11 million sensations, as they call them, pieces of information, every second. And then it takes around 40 a second out of 11 million to construct our reality. And all the way through history, whether it's religion or whether it's other human phenomena and pressures, we have been discouraged from exploring what reality really is. And I would suggest there's a reason for that. Once you realize how reality works, you realize we are in control of it and not random events. We are not at the mercy of life. We are creating that life, even though we may not realize that we're doing so. So, we will live within this, what I call cosmic Wi-Fi, what is described by others in science as the cosmic field or the quantum field of possibility and probability. And so within that field is infinite possibility. What from that field do we take? In the same way as you have a Wi-Fi field containing the entire internet, and your perceptions of reality, if you like, what you're enthusiastic about, how you feel, decides what part of that internet you are going to access, to put on the screen as an experience. We are doing that in the same theme as we live our lives. Because the key to everything is perception. Everything is a frequency. Every thought is a frequency. Hate is a frequency. Love is another frequency. Every emotion is a frequency. And so perceptions are represented by frequencies. So if you have a perception and self-identity that you are little me, I have no power, then that is represented, that self-identity, self-perception is represented as a band of frequency. And you are therefore interacting with this quantum field of possibility and probability within that band of frequency. And what you're going to create with that feedback loop is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to live a life that is manifested from your perception of little me, I have no power. It will be a life of little me, I have no power. But if you have another self-identity, which is that I am consciousness, I am awareness, my body is the vehicle for my awareness to experience in a very transitory way very brief way, this reality we call the world, but I am consciousness. I am infinite awareness, exploring the infinite forever, forever, and this is just one step on the road. Now that self-identity, that perception of self, has a completely different band of frequency. Because of the expanded sense of self, you have an expanded frequency range in which you are interacting with possibility and probability in the quantum field. And that is going to create a feedback loop between you and the field, which is going to bring you a very different life. To little me, I have no power. Those that have been through this process of awakening have noticed, I did in my own life, that suddenly amazing synchronicity starts to happen that wasn't happening before. Amazing bits of luck, things happening just when you need them. Oh, crikey, that's a miracle, that. But if you are now, because of your awakening and your expansion of consciousness, interacting with the quantum field of possibility and probability in a much more expanded and high-frequency way, you are going to manifest that synchronicity that little me is not. So perception is the dictator of our lives. And I tell you the good news, we can control the perception. And here's a great quote, kind of encapsulates what I'm saying here. It's by a man called Alan Watts. He was a very aware man. He died some decades ago now, but I mean, he's still very, very popular on the internet with the talks he did, which he did many. But here's what he said. Without the brain, the world is devoid of light, heat, weight, solidity, motion, space, time, or any other imaginable feature. All these phenomena are interactions or transactions of vibrations with a certain arrangement of neurons. And that's what they are. Solidity is an illusion. Weight, motion, these are all decoding phenomena of the brain from the waveform information field. And then you talk about here, time. There is no time. Oh, there is, I've got a watch. Well, what is that? That's human-created time, which we believe is real. There is only one moment that exists, and that's the now moment. All the rest is illusion. Creation of the decoding processes of the brain. So people say, well, time exists. Well, what about the past and the future? Okay, well, let's go through that then. When you're thinking about the past and you're regretting all that stuff and saying, if only, where are you? Well, you're in the now. Yeah. And when you're worrying about the future or being ambitious about the future, where are you? You're in the now. And then when what we call the future becomes an experience, that experience is in the now. There is only the now. And yet you look at our society, it is dominated by the illusion of time. But time is just that. It's an illusion. And here's another quote. You'll probably know this one. Very famous one from the Matrix movie, the first one.